This video is proudly sponsored by DigimonCard.io for all your Digimon card, deck building, deck list, card pricing, and discussion needs. Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and we've got special guest Russell. How you doing?
I'm great, man.
You're supposed to say tired and hungry, so, since it's been 10 hours. The tournament just ended, but I felt this was a super special deck list and event. And what did you end up doing today?
I ended up getting first with Green Hybrid.
Oh, green. So first, like some local, 20-person local or something.
No. As in probably the longest Ultimate Cup yet. We actually played 9 rounds.
9 rounds, 500 players, EX2. Everyone's saying Mother's the deck to beat, and meanwhile, you're just strolling into first place with this green hybrid, which no one's played essentially since BT8's come out. So yeah, very impressive. I know people are already clamoring for the deck list, so let's just get to it right now. I know everyone wants it, so.
Sure. Okay, so let's start with the good eggs.
Yes.
We got 4 of the new EX2 Gummymon. Phenomenal card, phenomenal art. Yes. Absolutely adorable.
Yeah, and I will say you have, if not full extreme full arts, a near full arts, which is a good investment because it's probably going to jump up after today. But
so everything in here is absolutely full art.
Oh man.
And it's it will be, if it's not if it's a pre-release card and it has the box topper one. I chose to play the pre-release, and I literally have the box toppers with me.
Okay, all right. Okay. I know that there's a bunch of people in comments already being like, "Oh, he's not a real Terriermon fan." Is that a pre-release?
No,
You're good. All right. So, but Gummymon new for EX2. And definitely helps some card draw, which I think green suffers issues with at times.
Yeah, savagely. So I'm glad they gave us this card finally. You don't draw that often off of it, but when you do, you snowball games super hard. So this is a must of 4, and because you're playing Mimi, you must play 5 eggs. My 5th egg is the Minomon. At Philadelphia Regionals, I spent $20 buying this from PPG and their booth for no reason. And the more I played with it, the more I realized I want this to just be a BBmon instead. And so I wish it was a BBmon.
Okay, all right. But you had the sunk cost, so you had to.
I didn't bring my BBmon with me, and I went to my locals last night to get some of the full art cards of these. And then they're like, "Oh, just take your photo. It's about to be 10 o'clock." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, so Gummymon draws cards. Minomon gives you an extra boost when swinging over something. Not really necessary. It's hardly their make or break. A BBmon would be good instead, and I'll explain why later on.
Okay, right?
Cool. So first of the rookies, the 4 Terriermon of EX2. Card's absolutely insane. When you play a Tamer, you gain 1 memory, and if you have multiple of them out, obviously you'll gain multiple memory.
Sure.
And when it's inheritable is a Cody, you gain 2 KDP to this Digimon when one of your opponent's Digimon gets suspended. So a very, very obvious play is, right? If you have a Tamer out, wrap him on over it, only for 3, go to 0, and then it becomes 8k, and it can swing and trade with most of the level 6s in the game, as we've all known, because yellow hybrids everywhere.
Yeah, so it becomes an 8k, and then it gives -13, so it will trade with a 13k, or any level 6. Being able to use a level 4 to take care of them is really good value.
Super value. The gain in memory play is something I opt to do as my preferred and best opening play. If I'm going into turn 2, so my second turn, right, raising Terriermon and then playing in any of the Tamers, the JP, the Mimi, or even the Izzy Mimi. It just sets you up for success, and the extra 1 memory is make or break. A level 5 or a Jogger's coming down at you.
Yeah, and playing JP for 2 when then you can Digivolve on top of it for 1 is it's I feel like that's double memory saving.
I did that quite a lot. I did that quite a lot. So definitely a play I make all the time. Great card. The alt arts are adorable. Next up is the 4 memory blocker Terriermons.
Yes.
Don't need to explain much.
No, people memory. Run that card anyways. So
it's anti-memory boost. It's going to be super strong next set too. I definitely pick up 4. Yeah.
I have 3 alt arts right now. So if you make this 4th one terrible to pick up, I'm blaming you specifically.
So sorry. So sorry. And now is honestly if this wasn't spice enough, it's a 2 Calumon.
Yes.
And
a lot of people, you've said this, you've called me out on it, is people are like, why are you playing this card? It seems like bad cycle, right?
It's the complete opposite. So what ends up happening a lot is like you get a Terriermon and raising, your opponent does something, they pass you over at 3 memory, but they don't really like have like a too insane of a board out against you. And so I've like raised Terrier, played Kalu down for 1, and then like dropped in the JP, choke you at 1, right? And the extra draw you get off the Calumon helps you get to the pieces that you're going to be missing because, you know, as we already explained with Gummymon, you have trouble drawing cards.
Yes.
And you don't have trouble searching cards, but you have trouble drawing them because you need to draw into like other non-beetle pieces via your beetle. And that's like the huge issue that you'll run into if it's your first time playing green, first time playing green hybrid. That's a very, very common thing.
Yeah. And also too, like it suspends itself to get its value. So you have this 1K out there that your opponent's like, I want to swing into that. I want to pop it, right? And just having the pressure, like trying to trick your opponent into swinging the Calumon so you get all the benefits from them having a suspended Digimon or something to swing into safely is a lot of value.
Yeah. So it's absolutely absurd. The 3K is going to make or break security checks or make or break your 6s swinging over your opponent's boards of 6s or 7s. Right?
Yes, and it's any Digimon digivolving at all. It's just the reduction's only to get it out with a Terriermon.
Yeah. So I've gone like Calumon's here. Turn this Terriermon into I'll show you later the Kabuterimon, and then I'll tap it and give my Ancient Beetle plus 3K.
Yes.
And then I'll use Tomata Santi, tap it, and then Ancient Beetle swing in 16 security checking, so you basically survive everything in the game.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So 2 of these, people are telling me to play Green Men Boost instead. I didn't listen to them. This card's absurd. It's very, very strong. You don't need more than 2. If you're playing like a Gargomon list and you're not playing these, I don't know why you wouldn't want to. I've seen the same thing. People just it's the same argument. They'd rather have boost instead.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Moving on to 3 Bokos. You don't want 4. You just want to see in your opening, or you just want to see it to like end the game. And I'd rather have another level 4, another rookie, or another Tamer than instead of the 4th Boko.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, Boko super strong. Next up is the level 4 package. Very obvious. 4 Beetles, 4 RhinoKabuterimons. Your Beetle will proc its ability when you evolve over one of your Terriermons out in play. And that's very, very, very important.
Okay.
You need to cycle to find your JPs.
Yep, you do.
And if you don't have a JP already in hand, because this is the Ultimate Cup and we got mulligans, and so I think I did so well in this tournament is because I was able to mulligan for like this combo, like the opening Beetle. If I hit a JP and I already have one in play or want to play something else, then like this is just a super safe commitment. And to force your opponent to go over this in your stack instead of your JP, which gets to cheat memory, activate your Kabuterimon's ability, and then make your Rhino cost 1, it feels phenomenal. Like you want them to commit to wasting stuff on this little guy instead of like everything else. Right? Big. Here's the big kicker that went from Philly regionals to this list from to this week, and that's double Kabuterimon. I've been meaning on this. I've been telling I made like Facebook posts. I was like, I am silly for not playing Kabuterimon for so long. This card's absolutely absurd. It does things that most hybrid decks can't even do, which is Digivolve over for 1 in your stack and raising. And most of the time people give us first after we win game 1 because we're playing hybrid, right? And being able to go Terriermon into this Kabuterimon is absolutely absurd and choking them over at 1.
We saw that in the finals too, and that was really good, and it just a fantastic starter too. So
yeah. So love 2 of these. If there's a lot of red hybrids in your area, kick it up to 3. This card's phenomenal. Moving on to it can block XVmon.
Yes, that's true. Also have the finals.
You need to have it. You can block XVmon with it. Super strong. Next up is triple rapid. I don't want 4 of these. The same reason I want 4 of these. I need to see the pieces. I need to see my Tamers. And you don't need to play more than 2 of these per game, more than likely.
And I mean, you only have 8 targets for the Digivolve in deck anyway, so you know there could easily be more Terriermons more Rapidmons than Terriermons in your hand most of the time. So I think 3 is a good call.
You'll also play Beetle, shuffle some of your Rapids to the bottom of your deck. And that'll start influencing you to start going into like RhinoKabuteri here, or like Kabuteri or RhinoKabuteri. Because you'll be like, oh, I just sent 5 cards at the bottom, none of them are rapid.
Yep.
So I know that I'm that much closer to getting to a rapid, and that's been influencing my decision making to play Beetlemon and to not play a Beetlemon.
Yes.
Over my JP, over playing a metal.
Yeah, because you get a lot of top deck searches with a lot of these, so you can kind of guess what is the next top 5. Any thoughts on playing? Because I know there's like a Arbormon, right? That's another hybrid you can use in this. Any thoughts on putting more than 8, or did you always have a hybrid when you needed to?
I actually used to play 10 hybrids. I played double Arbor plus this combo.
Yeah.
But I need the blockers.
Okay.
And the fact that we have rapids instead of arbors allows us to get more value from this super powerful board swinging card, or this one like choking than Arbor would give me.
Cool. All right. Cool. And that's a big thing. I mean, yellow hybrid runs 8 hybrids, or level 5 or sorry, level 4 hybrids too. So it works for them, and just making sure that there wasn't the I don't know, you wanted to get the greedy like 9th or 10th one in there.
Yeah. I would if I could, but it would never claim a spot over the blockers because I would have lost a red hybrid today had I not played this.
Sure.
He had full Ancient Greymon combo, 5 checks, my entire security down, and an Omnimon for game. But because I had because I had Kabuteri out, I blocked and then won.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that deck's super strong. It's positioned well for the meta, and I just want I want to be able to give myself the opportunity to play for the block, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Next up is the 4 Rhino. We'll put them over here. Card's absurd. Can turn into any insectoid.
Yeah.
It can go over the Kabuterimon here. It's an insectoid. It'll get its ability. For only 3.
Would still it'd still be for 3 to digivolve on top of it, but it looks for a hybrid or a insectoid. It doesn't look for a tamer in sources, which most of the hybrid kind of things do, but this one doesn't.
Yeah. For some reason, it just enables it to safely be evolved into in raising, and that's what I've been doing. Yeah. So I just put this back here, go into raising, give you 2 or 3, pass on and turn to you, and now they definitely don't want to swing into me, because there's no amount of memory they can give me that would block off me just immediately turning into a level 6 against them. So I've made that play to kind of stalemate my opponents off without even having a level 6 in hand.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I didn't have an ancient yet. I'm just like, he has to just kind of play around this no matter what, as I give myself time to go
find
it.
Right?
Yeah. So super strong, crazy card. The other package combo, double cherry. So I played Blossom and Argo at Philadelphia Regionals. I thought they were somewhat useless. I didn't really like them. I just wanted more blockers, and I wanted to give myself the ability not to get spun away by Paildramon, right? So if I have Kabuteri out and then I block, I'll stop the XVmon swing, so they're only swinging me twice, but Paildramon will still put this on the bottom of my deck. Going into a Cherrymon, absolutely phenomenal. If they fighter mode this card, Value City,
you're winning.
You did your job. You're winning the game. You're super chilling. And against the Imperial Dramon matchup, you need to sit on a Calumon in your hand because you need your Ancient Beetle to get over their fighter mode. And you need this 3K. In my mind, this is a Hornbuster. This is a Trident. Whatever it is that green hybrid players have been playing for a long time. This is the same thing. So I just keep this here. If I have a Mimi, I will raise up a Terrier, Mimi, and then kick out another Terrier into raising and just sit there with it, knowing that I'm threatening Rapid and I'm threatening Calumon. And there's so many things that they have to play around that it's pretty overwhelming in this current format.
There's a lot of tech in here, and threatening Rapid is such a big play because again, it is a board clear by itself, and Terriermon's just a good value. It's 2 memory for a blocker, and a lot of decks that blockers mean a big thing right now. Yeah.
It's the difference between you losing the game or presenting lethal to them next turn. Right?
Yes, exactly.
And the choking over it too is a super feels good. And this is also a very safe swing into security, because you think like, but now you have to full pay for an ancient to go over this, and you'll see like as we go into the other the level 6s that you don't mind doing that at all, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So if you're snowballing the game, if the Kalumon's out, you have a Mimi out, you have a Boko out, and you start to turn to 3 memory, then you can go into Shiva here, and then for 4, and then Calumon give you the memory back. You're back at 3, and then you swing and stuff. It's absurd, right?
Yeah, and just the fact that Kalu can rest itself, so you can have all your Digimon rested too, is
really nice. Yeah. That comes up a lot. That comes up a super lot. So going into the 6s, right? We'll do the 3 Ancient Beetle. Yep. Sometimes I want 4. The aggression's great. People think because that armor is very prevalent in the format that this card is now bad. It isn't. especially when we're playing our own armor because they're just very, very strong. And, it's great. You'll find that because you play only 8 hybrids, or I only played 8, right, is that when you drop in with Ancient Beetle, you don't want to do that too often unless you're presenting lethal the following turn. What you'll end up doing is you'll lose.
If I was playing against this deck, I would look at it and be, there's 100% chance there's a level 4 in your hand, but like, I don't have many left. Like it's
I know the count, and then they don't. Yep. The threat of it coming out, and they're like, do I really want to deal with this? Right. Its ability also works off of any hybrid or 10 warrior swinging. So if you swing with a RhinoKabuterimon, and this is stunned because of blue, and it swings over a Kumamon, you get the trash.
Yes,
you don't.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be the Ancient Beetle, and I think a lot of people don't, realize that one.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
So, you don't have to rush into this, but it is a somewhat safe play to do so. It's even safer when you have a Calumon and you bump it up to 16, so you don't die to Susano, Mastamon, and other 13s in security that you'll run into. Right. Next up is Double Shiva. This is a meme in the community. People think this card is bad. They think the deck is bad. But I think when they visualize that, they think Koga, Shiva, and then force them out of Santis, right? We're not going to be doing that. This presents, incredible like board states your opponent can't break. This is very, very, very strong against Imperial. They can't Mega Debt.
Yes,
they can't Hammer Sport. And so if they go into the Terriermon combo, swing over you, end on the what's it called, Dragon mode, and puff stuff out, you can be like, Calumon, Shiva, swing over the Dragon mode, and then you'll have like something else to like handle the other level 4s. If not, you have your Rapid. Like there's a lot of value coming in, and this will randomly present itself to lock your opponent out of plays and present lethal the following turn.
Yeah, and I think it's only a meme because it didn't really have a home, and so having a home in like a deck like this, and people have been trying to tech in Imperialdramon for some success, but based on what I've seen for this one, because you've run so many Tamers anyways, it's not tricky just to have a single stack, have Shiva the only Digimon out, and you can get value or pass turn with Tamers without having an unrested Digimon out.
This is the lineup I played for Philly. I bricked 2 of my rounds and then got destroyed by Red Hybrid on stream, and so that changed my mindset of what's going to be my level 6 Digimon, which is previously Ancient Troy, and I chose Argomon. Everyone knows this from BT7. It's nothing too special. However, Blue Hybrid won. Red Hybrid was in finals with it. Yellow Hybrids everywhere. So I'm gonna play one of Argomon. I've done this play a few times where this Shiva's stunned and they like have a Sword Joe out. I still Digizorption it and then play the Argo, and then it'll restand and present lethal the following turn. It's absolutely absurd, and
they can't do any hybrid play. I mean, they can hybrid, but they can't go up there.
They'll never get over it, right? Or like bounce it. It's just they either Azulong for a game, and if they don't have it, then you're kind of just
Well, it taps all of their Tamers too. So even if they go up their hybrids,
Argo,
exactly. The Argo is fantastic for that.
And then same thing with Argo is they come out suspended. You feast on them with Ancient Beetle. Most blue lists have dropped the Force Siako, and so none of the control is there anymore. All they have are Madokis to stop you, and you don't really care about gaining memory via Boko or via Kalu. Against that matchup, you really just want to swarm your board and beat them with your level 5. What I see a lot of times is when people are testing green is they want their level 5 to immediately turn into an Ancient Beetle or immediately turn into a Shiva, and you don't need to do that in the blue matchup. He's 8K, he's huge, and he's a problem for them to deal with. He's one of the safest, that's the matchup's like one of the safest swings in the security. They have nothing outside of a Zulongmon, or Susano to hit you. And so what you need to be doing is you need to be swinging with this and then ending your turn on a JP. If they strip everything from this the following turn and then freeze it, that's now your Argomon target. That's like how your mindset should be, and you shouldn't be turning to your 6. What's more important is that future JP you have is going to deal with the Beowulf that's going to come out, or the Korikaku, wherever problem's presenting itself. So
I can tell you put a lot of practice in this. Like I can.
There's I can explain green hybrid in every single matchup for like 10-15 minutes each, right? This is absurd. People will adapt to try and beat this with more Siakos, and I don't think it'll really work if we put in a 4th Rapid. If the Rapid clears out their Siako and their small board, and you take control back and then you Argo them, you pretty much win the game. There's not much they can do to
there's nothing.
Moving on to the options. Used to be Thunder Laser, now it's 2 Samadasanti.
Yeah.
When it procs out of security, it'll suspend. It can take away a Davis because you can hit a Tamer with it, and it'll take away Lobomon for game. Yep. It could take away D Reaper. So if they go for Reaper play and then restands itself during their turn, you tap it out in Samadasanti, you win the game off that. I will say D Reaper's kind of a free matchup. I don't really have a problem with it at all.
Okay.
Shivamon Ancient Beetle will rush them down so much, and these Metal Kabuterimon are money against them.
Yeah, because they're just gonna have these weenies out that you can swing over, and you do like crit damage, and a lot of.
And so you go in, you trash the top, and then poke in for 1, and sometimes I've trashed the Gatekeeper, and my opponent's like, man, I'm like, yeah, man, that's what you get for playing Gatekeeper, man.
Yeah.
And so you'll rush them down. Basically, if they get to 5 sources underneath them, they must have played a Bubbles before you present a lethal to them. And so you can go Ancient Beetle, swing in. The Mimis in the deck help you Rookie Swarm. So if you get to the Rookie early, or if you're playing Mulligans, you want to Mulligan for the Rookies plus the Mimi or plus the Tamers.
Yeah.
That's definitely an optimal route to take. So
gotcha.
Samadasanti's super strong. I used it to tap down a fighter mode, and he tried to go Omnimon over next turn and pass me over at 4, and then Omnimon swing. But Samadasanti says it literally cannot restand next turn.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So we had to go over that, and I was like, oh, you can't. It's Omnimon. He's like, no shot. Can you read it for me? And I was like, yeah, man. And so I read it. I read it verbatim. And he goes, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, you got it. And just won the game that way, right?
Yeah.
So you can go up to 3. Don't really need to. It's fine. Next up is the 1 memory boost. I couldn't bring myself not to play any 0 memory boost, but Ying and a couple of other people who have seen tons of success in the cups and regionals have been fond of 1-ofs or 2-ofs of this, and so I figured, yeah, why not? I'll play it anyways. Sometimes I have trouble finding the Rapids, the Argos, the Shivas, right? Something that I can't search via book or a Beetle. It just gets me there, right? Also, we don't have defense in this deck in security outside of Samadasanti, so we need every swing that goes into us to just generate more memory, which is going to be these here.
Any thoughts on an analog boy in this list instead, because it is a Tamer and it lets you kind of dig a little bit at least wider for your cards?
I would rather play the Alice that I played last week.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. So I played an Alice last week, and there was a game that came up where if the Alice was a green Tamer, I blew out my opponent, and it wasn't, and it's just an Alice, and so I lost due to inconsistency issues.
Sure.
And if you're thinking that, oh, Alice is probably good in this, that list looks pretty absurd, you're absolutely right. I just gave it up in order to keep the consistency here. I can see myself adding it back in. If you're just having a lot more fun and you're trying to make these crazy plays. If you expect a lot of blue hybrid in your tournament, play 1 to 2 Alice. You can always delete the Digimon they stun and then turn into your next level 6. And that is just board breaking and just fun for them.
That's a really good tech for that matchup. Yeah, being able to prevent them from getting their Sorjos and Mats that
yeah. And then you Argo them next, and you're like, oh, I'll delete your guy, I'll swing over your dude, and then I'll just go ahead and go and Argo off my Alice. And they're like, what is this? And I'm like, yeah. So next up is the 4 JPs. Kind of normal canon plan. I have 2 box topper ones and 2 pre-release ones because I like the way they look, and that's
on choice, by choice. You could play.
That's by choice. Yes, so we're not about that non-hollow life, but there you go. I like the stamp. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Nothing to explain there. You need to play 4. They search it through Beetle. People forget that it cheats 1 memory, and so I've had opponents when they have 0 security left in sec, and they have 0 security left, right, and they give me 1 memory, thinking that they're dodging the hybrid.
Yeah, there's no Hammer Spark in this list, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, yeah, you got it, man. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. No one plays green, right? So you gotta explain things to them every single game. I'm talking to my opponents, right? So this is probably one of the spicier changes. I added 3 Mimis, or it used to be 4 Mimis. I kicked it down to 3. I put it at 4 because I was like, I always want to hit my memory tamer. Mimi's amazing. I never want to miss it. Whatever, but I realize it's not allowing myself to put myself in a position to play out of my security and quote unquote luck sack my opponent, right? And blue has Sora Joe's, yellow has TK and Kari. Where's mine, right? And that's when I realized I need to kick it up to 2 Izzy Mimis in this deck. These have been phenomenal. I was hitting them out of security all day. I was raising this little Terriermon, then playing this down for 3 and choking my opponent at 1 when he had an XVmon and raising. And so he's like, I'm not just going to come out and swing because I can't even make
exactly.
right? And so they're just like, all right, yeah, I'll pass over. And what this enables you to do is, if you haven't hit your JPs yet, and you have a Mimi plus an Izzy Mimi out, you're super comfortable going over the Izzy Mimi.
Yeah.
To make your Rhino stack into your Ancient, because you're saving your memory Tamer for later on.
Yeah. Exactly.
These used to be starter deck Izzy's, but again, the same thing. My opponent would rush me down. They would hit in a starter deck Izzy's, and I only have 3 memory to work with next turn, and sometimes it's not enough. Not when you're playing Rapids, and not when you're like trying to find your lines in the fashion you need to do so, or like with some Anasantes, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, you run quite a bit of level 6s too. So, and I do catch you on stream doing the other effect of it and finding the Shivamon to Digivolve for free on that. That's
yeah, that was super funny because I went through like I think maybe 7 or 8 Digivolves, and I haven't seen a level 6 in my hand minus an Argo. So when I swung with the Rhino, I couldn't tell you how confident I was.
Yeah, you're just
hit. I was like, no shot. This doesn't this doesn't hit. And so the top 2, I was like, whatever. And then third card was Shiva, and I was like, yeah, we're going to Shiva. Let's go. Like, yeah.
Feeling good.
So, that'll come up often. You can, and people just like explain rulings and stuff. You can swing Rhino Mimi, do the Mimi check, and then resolve your Rhino afterwards.
Yes.
Like if you missed. And so it's great just to have the option there, and then to have the +2 off of aggression that's coming against you. And this is a very aggressive format for some decks, and then you have like Yellow or like Reaper where they play it slow. So this is those matchups where you just throw it down and immediately go over it. Right?
Yeah, and you make your opponent like not want to do anything because they always feel like, well, if I push this this Digimon up, they're going to be able to interact with it and get value off it. So I can't really. I have to just sit here until I feel really confident that I can end the turn, end the game in the next turn or two.
Yeah. Also, in the hybrid matchup, believe it or not, you don't want piercing. It allows your opponent to luck sack you. It allows them to play out of their Tamers. It allows you to lose for situations and board setup that you already had.
Yeah.
Sometimes going over the Izzy Mimi or the Mimi into your Ancient Beetle, he's just a huge threat, and they don't even get value out of like the ability to make a comeback play out of their security if he's just trashing.
Sure.
And that happened all the time. Probably 2 times on stream, or like my opponents were like, they thought I had piercing too, and so I trashed. And
and they're like, no, please.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, I get this. I was like, no, I'm not piercing. It's a Mimi, and they're like, oh okay, yeah, so sorry. And I was like, yeah. Like, and then,
if again, no one knows these cards, right? Like,
no, for sure. I mean, I probably explained my deck like the entire day.
Yeah, no doubt.
I drop a Beetle, reveal 5, and they'd see like a Kalu, the new Terrier, and like Samana Santi, and they're like, what does that one do again? What is it, like, what's this card? Like, I know it costs 1, but why? Yeah. And then it's a big explanation for it.
So cool. Well then, thank you for that. I know you've been talking about this all day. We'll make it quick and easy. What would you say was the hardest matchup and the easiest matchup for this list?
Let's see. Hardest is definitely Red Hybrid because it's so close and they can OTK you at all times.
Yeah.
But if we're saying like outside of pure aggression, I would think it's an Imperial when you're unable to make your Ancient Beetle stack or your Rapidmon stack.
Yeah.
And I say that because there's a lot of matchups in the game where you can handle it without your level 6. And you're going back and forth with trades, Armor Birds, other hybrid decks, you kind of want to champion rush them and then go into level 5 to protect yourself from Edens, right? And it gives you more time to go into your 6 or draw your 6.
Yeah.
And what I find with Imperials, when they rush me down, if I don't have an immediate answer, then the game's over.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
pretty much why the Kabuteris and the Cherries came in. So I think the closest matchup would be in the Imperial, outside of Red Hybrid, and we know how Red Hybrid can draw.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's not a single deck I'm afraid of. Against Mastamon, you just go at them. And you might have, I believe you streamed that in
game 3 the Mastamon.
Yeah. You just swing.
Yeah.
And the only reason game 2 lasted so long is because he hit like double flame Hell Scythe and double chaos grenade out of security.
Yeah.
And I just kind of have to like accept that that's going to happen, and I accept that into my plays. I literally drew my last card when I swung in for a game.
Yeah, you did. And you're like, well, this last turn, I guess. So.
Yeah. And you just kind of have to go after him, keep digivolving, keep swinging. If you see a lot of yellow hybrid in your area, then you can definitely add in Susano in place of like probably something here, if not like one of the Kabuterimons. I just wouldn't advise doing that. I think it's just it's kind of dead in the water early, and without HPD to pair with it, it took away that spice that
exactly. I agree.
So I mean, I can talk about that next, which is why no HPD, and everyone's gonna look at this list and be like, "What are you doing? Like, why not?" I don't have the extra card to tap to play my HPD, and I don't want to hit HPD in a moment when I need the one other level or the one other tamer that will win me the game.
Yeah, and a lot of your Digivolutions are reduced anyways, right? So like, it's like going from 2 memory down to 1, or 2 to 0 for tapping something. Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think, based on what I've seen and just hybrids in general, there's so much cost reduction and not a lot of things to tap for HPD that it doesn't make sense to me.
All it does is buy you a JP at the end of the turn, instead of passing over something, and that's kind of how it feels. And you just don't need that. I'd rather tap my Kalu to make a big player gain the memory off of it, and thus nullifying the need for HPD. Or I'd rather swing with my Boko and apply pressure, because there's a lot of games where like you'll just see me rookie rush or champion rush somebody, put them at 0, and then end like on a Mimi and JP, and they literally like. While I'm at 4 security, they can't win the game anymore. We're just waiting for me to draw the hybrid to win the game.
Yeah, exactly. You've set up, you've put enough pressure, and they can't recover from that.
Yeah. So definitely a lot of routes of play to take the deck. And I would say if you're picking up for the first time, or like you're really trying to grind out green hybrid, you'll just understand what I mean by when Beetle searches and when Boko searches will lose you the game. And it's because you're thinking, oh, I haven't seen my Rapidmon yet.
Yeah.
And I need to go make these plays, I need to do all this. And you're like, oh, I'll just Boko to end my turn. And it's like, well, because you haven't seen Rapidmon and you've been through, 15 cards already, more than likely Rapidmon's on top. I would not advise playing Boko and then revealing your Rapid and throwing on the bottom, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I've had a few turns where I have Boko in hand, or I would get value out of Boko, but I get a bigger value by just dropping in the Izzy Mimi, because I know I need to draw into this Rapidmon, and that Rapidmon's the only way I'm going to win this game against Imperial, Purge, or a late game against something.
Yeah, and you in a game where there's no shuffling once the deck has been put down.
Top to bottom. Yeah, you actually have to play to it accordingly. Yeah, and I feel like not enough people do that, and more than likely not enough other decks search that much where they'd understand it transitioning from another color, right?
Yeah.
So even Gato and even all these other crazy absurd cards, Lady Devi, it's only 3. And the difference between 5 and 3 is astronomical. When we're doing I activate 2 effects, I saw 10, you saw 6.
Yes.
So we're 4 cards off. If we still haven't seen the card we needed, more than likely it's on top of the deck. And that's it. But you can't go down this count because you always need to find JPs and you always need to find your Rhino with it.
That seems very interesting, really important. Yeah, I've seen all the value you get from that for sure. So well, cool. Well, I really appreciate you sitting down with me. Any shout outs or anything else before we end it out?
Shout out to my team, Someone's PC, from both Pokemon and from Digimon. I love you guys. You guys are great. Shout out to all the great players out there. They're always thinking of ideas with me, which is Max Tapera, Tayphrase, and they all said nice build, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
Like most of them, right? And so shout out to the community. I switched over here since BT5 and from playing Pokemon.
Sure.
And honestly, mostly everyone's been great. And I think it was only bad in the beginning because we're getting over COVID and we all want to play, and it's a little
and there's and BT5 was an okay meta.
It was bad.
It was a good starting meta to see how good the game can get to, and I think BT8 is a pinnacle for a while.
Yeah. I also played SecCon back then, so I needed to learn to be an empathetic person to understand that while I'm probably healing and winning the game, my opponent's not exactly having fun of what they're trying to do on the board, and so I feel once I transitioned to this, everyone just got a lot nicer.
Yeah, exactly.
Half the games were well, thanks for blowing me out. Your deck's absurd, bro.
I'd say
I gotta read that.
Yeah, before today, if I'm I'm going against green hybrid, this is gonna be so easy. And now I'm no, green hybrid.
What if it's a good pilot? It's crazy. But that's all I got, man.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. I hope you have a good rest of the day. I hope you get some rest too. I know you've been playing and probably a lot of prep, but it's been a long day too. So thank you very much.
I'm super hungry.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you for everyone who's watched this video. I know it's a longer one too, but Russell obviously has a lot to say about this deck. And who would not? It's a very good build on a very good tournament. We'll have the rest of the decks up on my channel too by Monday morning. So check out if you've made it this far in the video and you haven't liked or subscribed it, I don't know why not. You've wasted 30 minutes otherwise. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you again to Russell. Thank you again to Carta Magica, and we'll catch you all next time.